Thank you for joining the A-Game Zoom meeting. Juan, start us off with your financial projections.
Oh, golly, Wally, what is that?
Wait, does he even know he's live?
Why are his pants so tight?
Oh, you just got the... Is he pop locking?
He does have moves. Go on.
Oh, the breakdance.
Ooh, I hope he doesn't split his tight pants.
Oh, go one. Go, it's your birthday. Go one, it's your birthday.
You better clap yourself, that's work. In there dancing around like we crazy.
Okay, that was pretty good. Now that Juan has given us his unauthorized dance routine, does anyone else have a dance routine they want to do? Okay, well, let's get back to showing the world why A-Game is the #1 herbal solution in the world. However, I kind of want to know why his pants were so tight too. But let's get back to being on our A-Game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, how's everybody doing? See, I'm on my pink vibes again. How's everybody? Hopefully everybody's doing good. TGIF to everybody. Ooh, Shaquille, you said you making homemade pizza. I remember pizza. I remember, because when I used to make pizza, made the crust from scratch. Oh, she was a bad mama jamma in the kitchen now. That's why I had to lose weight, because that's why I was gaining it. Thank you, Chano, for kicking off the contributions. So overtime collection plate, barn burner alert. Yeah, we gon' do it. We gonna do it today, because we tired. We tired, y'all. I remember when we used to eat pizza and I didn't care about those carbs. Now I got to care. I got to be more careful about the carb intake. Yep. Let's see. All right. So, what we talking about today, y'all? Do not get me started on reminiscing about carbs. And you know the funny thing about carbs and sweets and all that kind of stuff, I think about that stuff. I don't even know if I have cravings anymore for it. I don't know that I really crave it. I crave it in my head, because whenever I'm faced with an opportunity to actually eat it or get it, or I never do. I get to the store and show as I'm sitting here, I go over to the bakery section and look at I eat with my eyes now. I eat it with my eyes. I look at all the cookies and the cakes and the candy and the bread and the croissants. Oh, croissants. And all of that. And I be like, ooh. And then when I think about it, it's like, are you gonna, like, would you pick it up and actually buy it and eat it? Nope. Because what I realize is that the cheat is not satisfactory. Once you've not consumed that stuff and then you eat it again, it's not satisfactory. There's nothing fulfilling about it. You'd be like, why I eat it? I don't even want it. Like, why did I eat that? Why would I eat? It's good right on the tongue, and as soon as you swallow it, you be like, Robert Dalton, I am going to cut a video about that lady with her 10-year-old son husband. That was the most disturbing video I've seen in a long time. And it's how son husbands are created. And it plagues black men into their adulthood. That was a disgusting video. It was disgusting. But I'm going to do a video on it, inshallah. Thank you, Jehovah Will. Said, gotta go back in for overtime. I appreciate you, CC. Carnivore diet been working out for me. Peace to everybody. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I can talk about a whole thing of health. I can talk about that food, baby. It's actually one of my favorite subjects. To talk about health and food, and you know, not only how to cook it, but whole food, and you know, better choices of food and all of that type of stuff. Hey, Miss Orissa. So let's get to it. Black women. me. Black women. Is this thing on? Is this thing recording? Black women. We's of the black community. We's tired. We's tired now. We tired of your victimhood. That is what we tired of today. That is what we're talking about today. That is what we are tired of. I know I'm personally sick of it. I'm over it. I'm over black women being a perpetual victim in everything. I'm over it. The whole world is over it. All the lionesses, we over it. All of the lions, over it. We over it. You cannot be a perpetual victim all the time, every time, in every instance, in every interaction, in every point in your life. You are the victim. You are never wrong. It is everybody else. It is from your kids' fault to your daddy's fault to your mama's fault to your husband's fault to the man and the boy you dated in 5th grade, his fault. It's everybody's fault. Y'all are the Carl Lewis's of the Victim Olympics. Y'all are the name anybody that ever won a gold medal. Y'all are them of the Victim Olympics. Y'all are the Michael Jordans. Y'all are the dream team of the Victim Olympics. And we tired. We tired. I'm personally tired of jumping online and seeing black women make an excuse for every single thing that has ever happened to them. You are not and cannot be an innocent bystander in your own life. You have never exerted any amount of control nor any influence in any matter or situation that you have ever been a part of in your own life. Everything simply happens to you, not because of you. Every bad relationship you've ever been in, no matter how long it lasted, no matter what happened in it, you have never contributed any energy, any action nor any thought towards any negative outcome. And it's amazing. That's amazing. Because you know what? When you had a little kid, anybody that has raised kids can attest to this. When you raise little kids, school-age kids, that your kids have a tendency to, when they come home and tell you about what happened at school, they always tell about what the other kids did. Such and such threw crayons. Such and such, got in trouble. Such and such did this and did that and said this and said that. Thank you, Alex said bam, 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 Crimson Cure voice. Okay, I'm going to give y'all the dance. But before I do that, anybody raise kids, can you attest to that? Your kid, they in about 4th, 5th grade, something like that. And every other kid done something. And if you sit back and you listen, your child know all the school dirt. But they ain't never in it. Now they know about who was fighting and who got in trouble with the teacher, who had to go to the office, and they know all of that stuff. But they ain't never in it. Then you ask them, well, what you do? Well, where were you when all of this was going down? And the kid have all the excuses. Well, I was sitting in the back. I was just looking. Right. And you know exactly what was said on the other side of the lunchroom where you wasn't at. And you know who started that food fight. Right? I mean, yeah. And you never believe the kid. And I had to do this with my son, my little brother. And he would come in from school and he would have a story every day, about what these kids that did. And so one day I sat him down. I said, well, what you do, baby? And his eye got big. I said, well, tell me what you did. Tell me your part. Because you got a part. You know too much dirt. You got a part. What part did you play? I said, if I come up to that school and ask what part you play, what story I'm going to get? I'm going to get your story. I'm going to get another story from the teacher. What I'm going to get? You might as well tell me now. Because I don't want to have to go up to that school and get a different story. I really don't. And that's when ye might begrudgingly tell you a little bit. My point is, that is something that children do. Because children are emotionally immature. Thank you, Miss Lou Casely. Children are emotionally immature. Little kids just don't want to be in trouble. So they will spin a story however they think they got to spin a story in order to either keep them out of trouble or minimize what kind of trouble they was in and how far and how deep they was in it. So that they make themselves either the victim or they ain't had nothing to do with it. This is a little kid though. These are school age children, 8, 9 years old, stuff like that. They little kids. They just don't want to be in trouble with mom and daddy because they know if they start talking too much, and that's when a little kid, that's how you catch a kid up. Just let them talk. Just sit there. You ain't got to get mad. You don't got to get mad because you the adult. You know what they doing. You know what you was 10 before, you was 12 before, you was 11 before. You know what it is. Anytime they started out, see mama, what had happened was, that's a lie because that's the same lie you told your mama. So you don't got to get mad. All you got to do is say, Oh, really? And they'll get comfortable, and then they start telling on themselves because they are kids. And they can't help it. And every once in a while, thank you, Marcel, said blessings. Thank you so much. Every once in a while, they'll catch that. I wasn't really over there. Tell me more. These hyenas are all of 12 years old. See, let's talk a bit about the arrested emotional development. See, you had that stupid therapist that was talking crazy about black men, talking about emotional intelligence when they are all of 10 years old. These females have not gotten past school age in their thinking nor in their approach to life. They are constantly worried about not looking bad and not being in trouble, or not looking to be the bad guy in the story. See, they're never the villain in the story. They ain't never the villain in their own story. They always the victim in the story. They didn't never volunteer. They wasn't never windmilling. They always the victim, never the villain. It is an emotionally stunted way of looking at things because only adults realize that they have to take accountability for their own decisions and the situations that they put themselves in or allow themselves to be in. See, adults understand that. That's one of the demarcations between childhood and adulthood, is that you start understanding how the world works. And you begin to take responsibility and accountability. See, all of this stuff, all of this victimhood is to avoid accountability, thus avoiding adulthood. Y'all are kids. But before I put that cart before that horse, let's finish this thought about the arrested emotional development. Thank you, Eric. I'm so glad that you're talking about arrested emotional development. It's a real problem in the community. And yeah, see, y'all are not adults because you have not yet understood how adulthood works and what you're supposed to do as an adult in the world. See, you still got a child's outlook on adulting. This is why these chicks will try to act like they're bossing up by simply paying market value rent for the place that they reside, buying food and buying clothes. And they'll act like they really doing something. That's the same thought that you had when you were 10. When I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I thought that was the pinnacle of adulthood also. I thought that being an adult meant nobody could tell me what to do and that I was free to do whatever I was doing, however, whenever, wherever, and could nobody tell me nothing. Lo and behold, when I became an adult, that was the furthest thing from the truth. You have even more responsibility. You have a responsibility to multiple people on multiple levels for multiple reasons. There's always somebody telling you what to do. There's always somebody telling you here and there what they expect of you, what they don't expect, what you gotta do, what you bet not do. It's always like that. That was the expectation of children. When I get grown, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. See, a child never realizes how easy childhood is until you become an adult. Thank you, Norman. That's what you don't understand. See, when you a kid, you think your life is hard. Man, my parents, I had to go to school. I had to do homework. You know, you got to bring good grades. You got to clean your room. And it's so many expectations. It's so much work for you to be a kid, not realizing because you don't know how the world works, you don't understand that this is the freest that you ever gonna be in your life as a kid. This the freest you ever gonna be. This is the most unburdened with life's responsibilities that you're ever gonna be. You'll never be this free again. We didn't understand it when the adults said that stop rushing to grow up. Be a kid. Be a kid. Go ahead, be a kid. You don't be trying to be grown. Because soon as you get grown, you're going to want to be a kid again. Trust. But we didn't know that as kids because we had not entered into adulthood. We had not been foisted into the responsibilities of being an adult. We didn't realize that we didn't really have accountability. And the reason why children can escape accountability a lot of times, not completely, because you're supposed to be teaching them about accountability as they get older. They have to take responsibility for things. But you give kids a bit of a pass because they're underdeveloped mentally and emotionally. They don't have a full capacity or working understanding of life yet. They are inexperienced. So therefore, you don't expect children to truly be 100% accountable for everything because they're still in the learning phase of life. They don't really understand how life works and the world works in full. They don't really get it. Right? They're underdeveloped mentally. Children go through stages of complete selfishness. Nothing in the world matters but them, their perspective. They don't have the capacity for empathy until they get a little older, and then they can start seeing, oh, well, other kids go through stuff too. That's why school age kids so ruthless. That's why they so ruthless. That's why they talk about you. They don't care. That's why bullying be so bad in like school age kids, because they don't have empathy. But when you get older, you're supposed to develop a sense of empathy because you're supposed to understand other people go through stuff too. And you can't just talk crazy to people. You know, you can't bully people. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't do people bad like that. It's wrong. You become to have a deeper understanding of right and wrong. Why things are wrong. Why things are right. And I actually didn't mean to go this deeply into the emotional arrested development, but it obviously needed to be said. Here's the other part that we tired of that is intrinsically linked to the victimhood Olympics. Y'all are compulsive liars and we sick of it. Y'all are compulsive liars and we tired of it. Hyenas are compulsive, habitual liars. You're liars. You're not just somebody who tell a lie every once and again. See, there's a difference. Thank you, Miss Lucky. Everybody in here has told a lie. I done told a lie. Everybody in here have told some kind of lie at some point in their life for some reason. Yes? Yes? I'm right? I know, right? But a liar is somebody who will lie when the truth will do. They'll volunteer a lie that nobody asked for. They will manufacture a lie that nobody asked for. It's outright lies and y'all favorite, lie by omission. Twist the story a little bit. And lying becomes second nature to you like breathing. That's when you're a liar. Can't nobody believe nothing that you say. Y'all are the perpetual, today's black women are the boys that cried wolf. That's who y'all are. Can't nobody believe your story no more. This is why don't nobody care about your story. That little so-called story that you always want to fall back on when you get caught up doing something stupid. When you get caught up doing something ratchet. Or when you get caught up doing something egregious. When you get caught up victimizing somebody else. Because y'all are abusive. We're going to get into the many ways in which you are abusive. Y'all are the ones who cried wolf. Every time that little boy, y'all remember that little story? Every time that little boy would go out there, he'd come back, it's a wolf, it's a wolf. And so the townspeople would come out and look for the wolf and stuff like that. Little boy, because he done caused chaos. Probably raised by a single mama. He done caused chaos. So he's sniggling and giggling. Thank you, Chano. Said they lie so much you can see it in their eyes. And so he thought it was funny. Every time he get everybody riled up about this wolf that's not there. And why did the little boy cry wolf? Why did he know that that was something that would happen? Why? Because he's a little boy. Now we about to get deep into it. Yeah, I'm using little boy to cry wolf. Yes. Thank you, Real Bravado. So withholding information is the worst lie. Purposely keeping information is a sign of low character. Yes, it is. And thank you, High Frequency. Thank you so much. We gonna go into the boy that cried wolf. But after these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, we're downloading A-Game's formula.
3, 2, 1.
I like that dance off between Juan and Iron Man. We know it's a dance off. And they got that energy from A game, from A game. They got that energy from A game because energy is actually one of 4 areas that A game addresses when it addresses men's health through increasing the blood flow of their body. So it increases a man's vitality, of course, his energy, his strength, and his libido. So any brother, any man in here that is looking for a natural way to start addressing his health, you can look no further than A game. A game is an all-natural product. You don't have any of these ridiculous things in it, fillers, inactive ingredients, and all of these sorts of things. It is just 21 herbs formulated specifically to address men's overall health. And it is quite potent and does exactly what it is meant to do. So what you do, fellas, is you take A game once every 72 hours with at least 32 ounces of water so that it can flush through your system and you can get the full benefit of everything that A game has to offer, which is quite a lot. So if you want to become part of the A game family, and I know that you do, you all do, we know, all you have to do is hit the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com. And please do not forget your 10% discount using the code Kendra10 so you can have this box of natural awesomeness delivered to you ASAP. Not only is this a 5-star product, but the customer service attached to the product that you receive is absolutely second to none. It is absolutely wonderful. You'll be pleased 100% around, okay? So, let's get back to the little boy that cried wolf. Why did the little boy cry wolf? Why did he do that? Not only was he causing chaos in the little town, why did he know? What did he know about himself that would make his crying wolf effective? What did he know about himself? Somebody put it in the chat if you just think about it. What did the little boy know about himself that would make his crying of wolf effective? He was a boy. He was a little child. And what do men do? Who do men protect? Historically, the natural instinct of men is to protect 2 classes of people. Who? Children and who? Women. Children and women. That is a male's natural instinct. In order to not help a woman or a child, he actually got to fight that instinct. He actually has to fight it. So the little boy understood intrinsically that I am considered innocent in the eyes of the adults. I'm defenseless. I'm small. I'm a child. And he weaponized that knowledge, which is why he understood that if I declare myself in danger, the town will come running to me because of my perceived innocence. Not only am I perceived innocence because I'm a child, I'm assumed not to be lying about this kind of stuff. Why would a child lie especially about something as serious as my life being endangered. All of this is implied in the cry wolf narrative. What did the little boy not ever count on? What did he not ever count on? What was the one thing that he didn't count on? What was the one thing? See, because I need people to think about this a little deeply. We're going to bring it back around. He didn't count on the people not reacting to him. He didn't ever count on that. So that whether there was a real wolf or not, he was counting on the instincts of the adults to protect him and believe him. And he didn't count on them ignoring him. So that when the wolf came, the real wolf, and he was really in danger, and he came running to the town to say, there's a wolf. No, but they was like, nah, you done burnt that bridge. We done came out here 11 times looking for a wolf that's not here because you're a kid and we don't want nothing to happen to you. It's our instinct to protect you. And you've used it up. You've used all your help tickets. We ain't got no more. Get back out there and tend them sheep because we know it ain't no wolf. So go. No. And he's crying. He's upset. See, but we've seen that act before. We saw that act. You was crying yesterday. And you was upset yesterday. And you had theatrics yesterday. We not doing this every day with you, little boy. And little boy went out there, and as I recall, the story didn't come back. That is what black women collectively do. That is what the hyena collectively does. She weaponizes what? Her womanhood. She weaponizes her womanhood. She will continue to lie and play the victim and act like she ain't had no culpability nowhere. And you supposed to believe her because it is your instinct as a man to protect her. What she never counts on is the day that there's actually a problem that she cannot resolve. And she come to you that last time, and this time is real, and you tell her no. You cried yesterday. We not doing this no more with you. You cried yesterday. Thank you, CHCG. That's supposed to be Chicago. Simpson, thank you so much. You cried yesterday. You had crocodile tears yesterday. You was snotting. You was crying so bad. And we came out and we helped you, but it wasn't nothing to help you with. You were lying. You lied about being a victim. You lied about somebody doing something to you. You're a liar. Just like the little boy that cried wolf, he didn't anticipate people actually putting him in the category, you're a lie. You've lied so many times, you're a liar. And we don't deal with liars. You're not going to get us all riled up every day. Trying to come to a rescue we don't have to come to because you're not in danger. This is when they talk about protect black women. You're not in danger. Protect you how? Protect you why? You put yourself in these positions. Nobody's coming to help you because you don't need any help. You have excessive uses of sign language. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. You use it excessively. And you hide behind the guilt situation. Not the guilt, I'm sorry. You hide behind the victimhood so that you can perpetrate abuse. Let's go there. You hide behind the victimhood so that you can perpetrate abuse. Take the therapist. The recent story of her, did a story on her. She's still doubling down on stupid stuff. You got a whole community of so-called professional black women that are still backing her. She was verbally abusive towards the general body of black men. And when the hammer came down, she's a victim. Yes? And her victimhood is supposed to surpass, it's supposed to trump, it's supposed to erase, it's supposed to make nothing of her abusive behavior. She's abusive. Thank you, Frederick said fear, false evidence appearing real. Saw a video of her in her car whining and crying about her loss of employment, still blaming black men. She's a victim. No matter her abuses that she perpetrates. Black women are some of the most abusive groups of people that I know. They abusive. They are abusive to children. They are abusive to husbands and boyfriends. They are abusive to other family members. They are abusive to associates and acquaintances. They are abusive to co-workers. They abusive. The most notable is the verbal abuse. Her readiness to cuss you out, berate you, and degrade you at a moment's notice and for any slight infraction. They abusive. See, they'll commit any atrocity under the umbrella of being a victim and just doing what she gotta do to survive. Thank you, Wiggy Wheel said it makes sense because men have, do I have fight the urge to 1, protect, 2, procreate, 3, problem solve, and offer 4, provision to the people they love. Exactly. Because that's in them to do it. Women know that. We know that. We've been knowing that since the dawn of time. We know that. But a hyena is guaranteed to weaponize it one way or the other. Black women are very abusive, specifically verbally. They physically abusive as well. Let's not ignore that part. They abusive physically. They'll beat you to the blood run. I got that threat all the time. I beat you to the blood run. Again, was never laughing when she said it. Delivered on the promise a few times. You understand me? Physically will attack you. They'll attack a man. They don't care if they got babies. They don't care what the situation is. They will fight physically. And no matter what she do, she a victim. Remember Ray Rice? Remember how he got in trouble for giving a knuckle sandwich to his fiance at the time? Thank you, Chano said physically abusive via proxy violence. Proxy violence and direct violence. They will directly attack you. Remember when he got in trouble for that? And everybody was like, she the victim, until the full video came out. And the full video revealed that she was the aggressor and the abuser. I'm gonna skibbity pap, I'm gonna spit, I'm gonna do all kind of stuff to you. Because I'm weaponizing my womanhood. See, I'm weaponizing the fact that you think I'm vulnerable. I'm weaponizing the fact that you think I can't physically hurt you. I'm weaponizing the knowledge that both of us have that if you rear back and hit me one good time, I'm out of there. She shook the dice, blew on him, and gambled one time too many on his kindness and his mercy. Thank you. What is he thinking? So the things that confuse me is how a hyena is both the victim and the heroine at the same time, the aggressor and the oppressed. Houseway. Exactly. She rattled them dice one last time. Mama need a new pair of shoes and came up with snake eyes. She got the skibbity pap of all skibbity paps laid out. Just laid out. I'm sure he didn't hit her with his full strength. I'm sure he didn't do it. He didn't need to. He wouldn't have needed to. But that incident, regardless of the fact that you could retroactively go back and look and see who the aggressors was, he still lost his position. Ray Rice was one of the premier running backs at that time. Thank you to Renzo. So animals that react in that way are put to sleep and don't need to drop the mic on that one for y'all to figure it out. Yeah. Ruined his career. He was in the middle of his prime in the NFL. And because she wanted to act a fool and weaponize her womanhood and be a victim and an aggressor at the same time, that man's whole livelihood got ruined. He really couldn't show his face nowhere. Regardless of what the video came out and showed. It didn't matter. Life was already ruined. The Ravens had already let him go. Nobody wanted to pick him up again. Nobody wanted to pick him up no more. I don't care what his stats look like. Thank you, Wiggy. Said y'all do know Tina was going upside Ike's head too. Yeah, that was a mutual combat situation. Even Tina Turner, when she was commenting one time on the What's Love Got to Do with It movie, she said, nah, we was fighting. Because both of them was on drugs, getting high, partying, rocking and rolling and acting a fool with each other. He was just stronger than her. That's all. They was two people in a toxic situation. Both of them was toxic. She just got tired of it because his skibbity paps was worse than hers. So, you know, it wore her out faster. That's all. Thank you, the boss said, for real, Goddess, I just dropped one off back at mom's house and she damaged my car trying to get me to get physical because I did time before. Not a chance. Exactly. Thank you, Go-Go. Thank you so much. So remember that lady who got in an argument with her infant in her arms, dropped the baby on the ground to fight. The lady baby died because she dropped the baby on his head. Fight was more important. Oh, yeah. I believe I did a video about that at that time. Mm-hmm. Ruined Ray Rice's whole life, his career. I don't even know what that poor man figured out how to do. She married him too. Yeah. And you ain't heard no more from her. Cause you stupid. You fumbled the bag for me. We could have had a whole bag. But you had to be a victim, didn't you? You had to keep testing me with that, didn't you? Didn't you? I only got so much patience with that. Yeah, Whitney and Bobby. They blame Bobby. Bobby got Whitney on them drugs. Whitney was doing them lines on her own. She got Bobby on them drugs. Let's not act crazy. She just had the image of innocence because that sold records for her. And she had the look to go with it. That was an image that the record company put out about her. She was in the background and going out there and singing. High as a kite. That's why she was always sweating bullets like that. Come on, only a crackhead sweat bullets like that. Only a crackhead sweat bullets like that. I ain't never seen nobody sweat more bullets than a crackhead. Crackheads is always sweating. I don't care if it's 100 degrees or 100 below. A crackhead gonna sweat. And I like Whitney's songs and stuff like that. She could sing and all that. Beautiful voice. She was toxic. She was toxic. Bobby wasn't on that stuff before he got with her. Bobby loved her. He came out recently and said, had she followed me, had she followed my leadership, she'd still been here. Because I was telling her what to do and what not to do. She was going against me. Every time I had problem solving for her, she went against it. Let me cover this as well. Let me cover this part of it as well. Where did black women learn this behavior? Being a victim and then being able to justify everything that she do behind being a victim. Where she learned that? My audience is smart. Y'all should be able to come up with that one fairly quickly. White women, feminist. Thank you, Undani, from White Survivalist Lost Cause. Thought patterns and syndromes and systems. That's where she got that. Because see, white people, when they was coming up with the lost cause and the lost value system during Reconstruction, they had to tell themselves the lie that they were victims of black people's freedom and everything that would come with that. They were victims of it. The law, the government had victimized them by setting the slave free among them. You set an uncivilized people among us and gave us a problem to try to overcome without the construct of chattel slavery. See, we had them under control already. You took that control out of our hand. Now we're a victim. Now we got to come up with a different type of system that does the same thing outside of the written policy of law. But first we got to tell ourselves the lie. And the lie that we got to tell ourselves is that we are in danger of not surviving them. And in order to survive, see, we got to do what we got to do. And doing what I got to do is the umbrella and the justification. It's all the justification that you need to commit any atrocity on the group that's victimizing you, that's threatening your survival. That's why the burning and the bombing of Tulsa was so egregious. That's why they did it. It was a threat to white survival in this country. We cannot have these darkies, these blackies, these niggas getting no idea about having a value system that we didn't assign them. They're running around having values that they're giving themselves. They're running around here thinking that they're people. We can't have that. You crazy? You crazy and lost your mind. You done lost your ever-loving mind, haven't you? It's a threat when they don't have the lost value system / lost cause, and they don't live by it, and they don't believe it. See, we gotta believe it, and then they believe it. And if they're not operating in the lost value system, we don't have control over them. This is why we talk about a value system on the Crimson Cure channel. That's why we were saying that the value system is what actually moves the community forward and gets us on code. Because believe it or not, we are on a code right now. It's just the lost value system. We live by that. We got to stop that. And the main reason we got to stop that is because that is a white survivalist system. Thank you, 39 Dina. We were under control during chattel slavery. We were under control biologically, culturally, and environmentally. That is why the South didn't want the law of the land to change, because it would radically shift things biologically and culturally. That's why they didn't like it. And that was the purpose of the lost cause and perpetuating a known lie. But the biology is that it's a lie. To get somebody to believe something. Once you believe it, you'll act on it. Acting on it is what? Cultural. Once it infiltrates the culture, even a lie become the truth. A lie become the truth when it become culture. It can be a lie biologically. It can morally remain a lie. But once that lie crosses from moral to ethics, once that lie crosses from biology to culture, it becomes the truth. And once it is culturally true, it will environmentally become true. That was the purpose of creating the lost cause, because they had to shift it biologically and then culturally. The Daughters of the Confederacy, they did their job. And eventually, what happened environmentally? The policies changed back. The 13th Amendment got a nice little clause that says you can't be a slave unless what? What makes you a slave again in this country? What puts you back into chattel slavery? What? Somebody put it in the chat. Prison. Prison. Becoming a convict makes you a slave legally in this country. And as soon as they could enact that, who started being convicted in an astronomical rate? Who? Who did they start convicting of any kind of petty crime that they could possibly think of? No matter what it was. Black men. It went on them then, and it continues now, such that we named it the school to prison pipeline and the prison industrial complex. The prisons became privatized. See, y'all don't want me to go into this. With the promise to the state that we'll keep it at least 75% full. Who they fill it with? Black men. When you get out of prison and you've served your time, what's the one thing you can't do? What can't an ex-con do? What can't they do? What right did they lose? Voting. What's voting? Is it biological, cultural, or environmental? Which one is it? It's environmental. So now that we connect them dots, do we understand, hopefully we understand why the black community, if led by black men, cannot affect change environmentally first. We have to affect change biologically and then culturally. We can't work environment back. We got to work biology up. That's why. Because black men as a collective group don't have enough voting power. Too many of them are ex-cons, whether it was right or wrong. Whether they was wrongly convicted or not. That's why they can't do it. It's not because black men are inept. It's not because they don't know what good politics are. That's not why. That's not why. Black men aren't inept. They're not politically unaware of what's going on. They're aware of their environment. Black men are very aware of their environment. But they are restricted, by and large, from making changes starting in the environment. Because you can't even vote. So you can't vote folk out and you can't vote them in. Because they stripped you of that right when they convicted you of a crime, whether you committed that crime or not. You can get exonerated and they're not going to bring them rights back. Oh, yeah, and I forgot the right to bear arms. So they strike the Second Amendment from you. Thank you, Emmanuel. So meanwhile, they want illegal aliens to vote. Yeah. Because illegal aliens got a whole different fight going on. They just want to be here. So you can't arm yourself. You don't have the right you lose your civil rights. That's exactly what a slave is. Slaves don't have civil rights. I'm going to leave y'all alone today. Slaves don't have civil rights. You cannot wield the rights of a civilian or a citizen in this country. And if you hear, but you are not getting recognized as a legal citizen that is entitled to constitutional rights, you are a slave. And if you don't think that they got these prisoners out here picking cotton, think again. Thank you, Jamal. The recidivism rate is there to keep the slave slaving. We make it difficult for you as an ex-con to reclaim your civilian life because little do you realize you're not a civilian anymore. That's why they be asking, you ever been convicted of a crime? And if you say no and you lie, you might get the job, but if they do a background check, they're gonna see it. And if you try to be honest and say, well, yeah, I got convicted of a crime, doesn't matter what the crime is, doesn't matter how long ago it was or anything like that, they're not going to hire you 9 times out of 10. So what they're hoping that you do is get so fed up and get to a point where your human needs have to be met. You got to eat, you got to have shelter, you got to have clothing, and you have to make your way to that you do that in an illegal fashion so that they can arrest you again, convict you again, and you're back. And they try to make that pathologically assigned to black men, that black men are pathological criminals, like they're habitual criminals, they're lifelong criminals. It's just in them to do that. It's just in them to be jailbirds. They just jailbirds. They just criminals. They're just criminals. Just black men are just crime ridden. They like crime. They like it. They like being poor, and they like being behind the 8 ball, and they like being in poverty, and they like being in situations where they have to live in survival mode all the time. To keep you a slave. To keep you with a value system that they assign to you, which is slave value, slave status. That is the value they assign. Less than human status. And then they turn around and gave black women mobility. Just like on the plantation. It's exactly the same system. It's exactly the same system. And it plays out exactly the same as it did on the plantation. It's the same thing. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is why a value system is so incredibly important. It cannot be overstated. The importance of the 10 life value system and adopting that cannot be overstated, because that is step 1 through step 10 of how we actually get from under the mental slavery. When we assign our own value, that's the thing they can't stand, because that's the thing that's gonna topple white survivalism. Our value system topples them because we will no longer serve them. And they can't survive without us serving them in this manner. That's the threat of extinction for them, which is why they've spent so many centuries instilling and inculcating and reinstilling and reinforcing the lost value system. Because you got to stay a slave for them to stay on top. Okay, now I got to do it. Because I wasn't going to do it. Now I got to look for, I'm gonna look for something. I'm gonna look for something. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna try to show y'all something. I had to find it, and then I gotta go back to the minute mark that is important. I need y'all to hear this. Listen very closely. It's a little scraggled because the audio is old, but listen very closely.
In the 18th century, there was a severe depression. Slavery seemed doomed. Then, in 1793, the invention of the cotton gin. Cotton could now be mass-produced, and an economic boom was in the making. Black hands and black backs were needed again to support a land. Who else could work so hard, so long, and so cheaply? But there were dangers in the system. Slaves could run away, or fight, or kill. And so, black codes were established that declared slaves were not persons, but property. These chattels could not leave the plantation without authorization. They could not visit the homes of whites or free Negroes. And for those who had the courage or the foolishness to defy the code, there was the whipping post, branding, prison, or death. As the country moved toward war, white men had established a moral system to meet their needs. At the heart of it,
did you hear that? White men had to establish a moral system, so biological control. We can keep going.
Was a belief in the Negro's natural inferiority. Slavery was declared not only an economic, but a social good. South Carolina's
So they went quickly from biology to culture. That's social.
governor said, in all social systems, there must be a class to do the menial duties, to perform the drudgery of life. Such a class you must have, or you would not have that other class, which leads progress, civilization, and refinement.
I hope y'all was able to get out of that what I was trying to give you. Thank you again, Norrin. Please tell me y'all got out of that what I was trying to give y'all. It should come as no surprise. We were slaves. The method of making us slaves in the first place began with the removal of the value system through biological, cultural, and then environmental means. That is how they got us there in the first place. So how do you think they keep us there? How do you think they do that? By maintaining us within the value system that they gave us. You heard what he said. The white man had to create a moral code. Like, this is morally just. See, I'm justified. And he taught black women how to do that from the plantation. I'm justified because I'm going to be a victim if this go away. If this system don't exist, I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to be annihilated. I'm going to be crushed. I'm going to be destroyed. I'm not going to survive. So I got to justify all of this. I can't just commit these atrocities. So the black codes was created. Codes. The value system for black people. That is why I said getting on code means value system. He just said it. The black codes, the value system we assigning to them. We're going to put them on code, but it's going to be our code. And the way we get on our own code is to leave their value system and have our own. Y'all don't hear me today. Listen. And I wasn't even looking at overtime today, but we got to understand the words that we are using, and more importantly, the words they're using. They said code. Thank you, benevolent brother. Black women are so invested in the lost cause because it's the only system that they even have a semblance of power. They are not going to let it go. They're not going to let it go. This is why I'm not here to save a hyena. The lionesses are the only ones that can be saved. That is who I'm calling out to. The hyenas have chosen their path. They can rot on it. Speaking of somebody else that really can't be saved is Black Lives Matter as an organization. We are holding them accountable for the theft of more than $90 million in donated funds, much of which came directly from the black community and was supposed to be earmarked to go back to the black community, not only for the victims' families, but the communities at large across America. They did not do that. The founders and the organizers of Black Lives Matter utilized that money for personal gain only. So I would love for my mods to put the link to the petition in the chat room so that it can be easy for everyone to go ahead and join us in holding them accountable by signing the petition, sharing it on all of your social media, and also contributing to it if they can. And also, I would love to thank everyone who supports the show through Super Chat, through Cash Apps, and through PayPal. Thank you so very much for all of your contributions, for your likes, for your participation in the show. I really appreciate that. And last but not least, I'd love to thank our support team, without which we cannot bring you this vital and original content on this channel. Thank you all so much. I'm going to wrap this up and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.